Hey there, welcome back to the table. Okay, so we're going to get started here. What's funny is I explained to you that the first player token doesn't pass to the left, but I never said who it goes to. It goes to Poland. I had to actually go look at the last video for that. I do have a major rules update that does impact this game. Not a whole lot, but I am going to retcon it. And I am so grateful to the guy who explained this to me. Again, it's the Discord channel. I got nothing but positive things to say about those guys. But basically, if I can find the section on distant claim. Alright, let's just look for the word distant. So this is distant NPRs. I'm looking for distant claims. Well, the word distant is definitely used a lot. Oh, we're gonna get there. I should have found this first before I hit record. To fabricate a claim on a distant area, it must be adjacent to your realm by land and contain an NPR province. Okay, this rule right here does not necessarily apply to Quest for the New World. What it applies to is things like Moscow. So, for example, this says to Ural, right? And so Ural's here. And then Kazan connects to Volga. So Kazan here can create a claim on this. That's what's called a distant claim. It sort of makes sense. Like, you wouldn't even need that to explain that rule, actually, because if this is a connection, it's no different than putting a claim here. So I thought that was silly, but the thing is it was misleading me. I was thinking that when you're placing claims out here, you need to have, like, if in order to put a claim on Central America, I need to first have something here in New Granada. That is not the case. So what is the case for out here, and what is the retcon thing? It has to do with it has to do with the explore action. So if we go back to the generic actions and go to explore, so you got to have Quest for the New World. Understood. So if there's a result with no skull, you discover a territory matching the number rolled, or, this is the part I missed, or a distant area with an NPR province. It could be a claim, a town, or a vassal. So that lets you, and what you do is you place a claim on it. Now, if you have a skull, you have to pay 1 to discover a territory matching the number. But see, the or is not there. So that's where I missed it. So we had a spot here where I think I came here and I rolled a 1, and I was getting bummed because there's only one 1 in the area. And then here's the other thing. This is not an area, even though it looks exactly like an area. And people are trying to say, well, these aren't areas. They sure do look like an area. I mean, this looks like an area between B and C here with these lines. That looks like an area just like this is an area, right? A C area. But anyways, every single circle and province on the New World is an area for the purposes of claims and area logic. So when I rolled a 1, I could have placed a claim on a province. I did not have to place a claim just on these. So what that means is I at least have something else out there. And I'll put it on, let's put it on Mexico. Okay, so now that leads to the next retcon question. And that is, between rounds, there's a spot where add colonists equal to the number of colonial claims on the board. So the word colonial claims needs to be defined. So, is a claim on a distant NPR a colonial claim? I'm going to assume yes, but I'm not sure. That's the problem I'm having. So there's the first time it's used. Castillo has a something colonial claim and gains the maximum of 4. Yeah, that's a great example, but France has 2 colonial claims. Includes steps A, B, C, and D. See, it's saying that they have colonial claims, but it's not showing us a picture of what they're counting as a colonial claim. Here we go. Any discovery made must be adjacent to your realm, or if you have Quest for the New World, one of your ships. Place a claim on the discovered area. Claims placed on vacant territories are colonial claims. There it is. It's defined right there. So that's the thing I needed to verify. So I was able to place a claim out here, yes, but only these are colonial claims. This is not a colonial claim. That's just a regular claim. That is the part I was looking for. So the only retcon was I got one more claim out there. And I actually need armies to take this, because it's just, it's a country. It's filled with a nation of people. These, I need colonists for. Okay. By the way, if this was considered a colonial claim, the retcon would have been I just needed to add a colonist to the colonist pool. So, nothing going on there. Alright, Poland does go first. I need to change my color so I don't screw up the game. And here we go. So they got their cubes, they're ready. Let's look at their state. Oh gosh, they're under attack everywhere. That's right, this was getting interesting. I was liking this. So the thing that they have no army, but what they're going to do is they're going to do a defend action. And again, how do I know? Because they're under attack by enemies of rebels. Spend 1 cube, go to defend. So let's figure out what the defend would have them do. Any area with invaders, yes. Do they have an army in an area where it can siege? I don't think so. I don't think they have an army out here at all. No. Their army is back. So the answer is going to be no. Is their army greater than? No. Do they have 2 cubes in manpower? Yes. They're going to spend 2 cubes to recruit 9 units. I had mentioned it in one of my previous videos that I did not understand what this column meant, but now I finally do. It's the minimum bots upon minimum bot cubes upon declare of war on bot. It was confusing to me because I was like, how was it that I need cubes to be able to declare war on them? What it is that, let's say France has 1 cube left, and then we decide to declare war on France, which puts them at a huge disadvantage because they only have 1 cube left. They actually go back up to 5. That's what this is saying. So if they have less than 5 when another player or bot declares war on them, then they automatically go back up to 5 to defend themselves. So you may have seen me miss that in the past, but that is an actual rule. So, getting back to the defend action here, we're doing the 9. And they do have 9. So they're going to recruit a whole bunch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 1 more for 7. And alright, so they got their armies. Now we come back. They do this basically until they get fully manned up. Are they double an invading force? Yes, they are. Army's not on the map. Any areas with the bots where army would not trigger a battle. With bots towns, yes, there is. So it comes down to here, and they would be placed in that area. And then it would go to end turn. So they're not going to actually do anything at the moment. They're just going to place, and they're going to go. I do appreciate the fact that the bots are simulating that they have to deploy their army and then move into battle instead of them just being able to teleport instantly to there. Okay, so I'm grateful for that. All right, so they deploy their units. This little thing is in the way, so let me make sure. Yeah, they drop to here, and then it is end turn. So sometimes they drop and then they move, but I guess that doesn't happen here. But that's okay. That's what. That's still a good move. These rebels aren't necessarily going to do something right away. They could, if somebody draws an event, but we're gonna keep going. And now we are to the Ottomans, and their game state is good. So let's draw for them. And they're going to do an idea. 1, 2, 3. They don't have any cubes here. That's the first thing they check. They're going to roll a die. It's a 3. And so basically it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they're going to take one of these. And I'm just going to clone one. And they're going to take one that hasn't been taken. So I don't know which one they're going to take yet. I don't even remember this one. Interesting. That's an interesting one. Alright, let's roll. 1, 2, 3 is going to be the bottom one. So they're going to take the top. So they go up here, and that's going to be 2 victory points for them. They keep getting stronger. Alright, now we go to France. And their situation is they have rebels everywhere. So they will do a defend. The army strength is just 1 and 1 in both of these places. So they do have double the strength. And the reason I point that out is because it's going to be a different path for them. So they have invaders. They're not going to be able to siege. They already have the double. Their army is on the map. And yes, they can go somewhere and fight. And that's what they're going to do. And then the turn's over. So, where are they going to go to fight? It's here or here. And then what's the choices? This begins with an A. So they'll go here. And also, arguably, it's the higher tax revenue. So they'll go here. They're going to actually fight 1, 2. Because this counts as an army, and then they have their own army. So it's going to count as 2. And they're just going to roll 2 dice. And they kill 2 units, which is interesting. So France is going to lose 1, 2. But they win. There's no counter rolls or anything in this. Alright, so that's done. And then this goes away. They liberated their town. And all kinds of cheering and rejoicing occurred. Okay, so, and they get a cube back. But it's not the spent cube. I may have done that in the past. That would have been a mistake. They spent a cube, they just gain a cube. Alright, now it's going to move to us. And speaking of which, I'm going to flip these over. Although technically I don't need these because I have the board over here. But as you know, I always forget to update this board. As you know, I've been playing that Brandenburg one last night, so I need to refresh myself on what's going on here. We have triangle and square coming. Yeah, this game is just not going our way. That's the part I remember the most. This one looks huge for France. Unless you're France, if you have a royal marriage with Burgundy, you may pay 3 to gain towns on all remaining provinces and vassals. We may want to consider that. Can I get a royal marriage? Of course not. And That would have been nice. To get a royal marriage with Burgundy so I can just claim their towns. That would have been fantastic. Although some of their towns are gone. Very interesting. Okay, that's something you can actually strive for, in the game. Alright, so to us, we have the horrible stability situation again. It only costs 3 cubes to get out of it, and then only at least be at -2. We have a bunch of diplomatic and military power. I think it's time to finish some missions here. I also have unrest I need to deal with. So, what's the right course of action here? The square is going to kill everybody. Holy pow. Well, I think actually the first thing I want to do is trade. Because we need ducats. So let's do that. 1, 2, 3. Flip. Okay, we got Antilles. So that would be 1. And then we have 2 ships and a merchant, so that's 3 more. So that'd be 4. So that would get me $10, which is not bad at all. Over here, we don't have any of them. So we would just have 1, 2, 3. We would get $5. Because I at least have the merchant and the 2 ships. And then over here, we don't have anything. This is showing up because of the South America. So I am going to take the tobacco, the tobacco, as my gammy would say. 10 ducats. And I'm not even going to collect it. I'm just going to get rid of one of my debts. Alright, so that allows me to put this here. So it means that merchant's been used, because I don't have the ability to lay it down very easily. I love the physics of Tabletop Simulator. That's just the only thing I can't do. So the claim is just fine. Alright, that wraps up my turn. I still thought it was a very productive turn, so happy with that. We come around here. My biggest issue is I don't want these guys passing before I get to. England has a whole bunch of stuff going on. Their army is 0, so they're going to do a defend action, and then they're going to recruit, which costs 2 more. And I forgot to do that with this. That costs 2 to do the recruit action. So they're going to get 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They're going to get all their armies back. And then, as you may recall, they're going to deploy themselves somewhere where they're near a place. So they'll go ahead and go there. That's their turn. Austria, 1,000,000 cubes. Diplomacy is 2. And they cause one of these to get discarded. And there it is. Subjugate. We need that card. So now they're going to do diplomacy. Let's roll for them. They rolled a 1. Alright, and we also need to look. I think it's this one. Austria bought. For diplomatic, 1 is Burgundy. Oh my gosh, they're going to get Burgundy. Those jerks. Alright, let's look at Burgundy. How many cubes do they have on Burgundy? Absolutely none. We actually have one, which is funny. So why am I asking? Because it's going to go down, down, down. Oh, it actually is going to stop here. Let's see, do they have 2 cubes somewhere else? They do, right here. They also have, well, they have a marriage and an alliance there. Actually, this is what's going to trigger. Yes. Yes. Do they have enough cubes? I think they do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They do not. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is what they need. And then 9. Because this is a vassal, so there's 2 here. These are half tax income. So there's where the 9 is. I missed that last time. So they need 9 cubes on here. And they only have 6. So the answer is no. They're going to select them. Yes. They're going to add 2 cubes. No, no. And then add 2 more cubes. And then this will happen. So let's just put the 4 cubes on first. 1, 2, 3, and 4. There you go. I can put that cube there. They also have to counteract this cube. So they actually need 10 cubes. Because this is a negative. Alright. Are they at peace and have 6 left? The answer is yes. Now they're going to go to the diplomatic chart. And yeah, remember I rolled a 1. So are there any free space there? Yes. Do they have less cubes than the income? Yes. They're going to spend 2 to add 2 cubes in areas of the target realm. So they're going to spend these 2 cubes to add these 2 to Burgundy. Alright, I want to look something up in the rules. I'm going to pause. Okay, so I just looked up something. We've been playing, because the bots do this. If an area has 5 cubes in it, the bot just bumps out the enemy player's cubes and replaces it with their own. And we just assumed that that was the case for everybody. So if an area has 5 cubes, we just assume we can do the same. And, you know, that's the reward for us influencing them. Like somebody else's influence is going away and ours is replacing it. But that's not the case here. Cubes, once it's up to 5, the area's full and you can't touch it. Unless you have an event, a mission reward, or some other thing that lets you remove cubes. I was not aware of that. So I may have misrepresented that in some previous videos. Okay, so that was Austria's turn. I still have a boatload of cubes. Now we're to Poland. See, look, they're spending a lot of cubes and they're going to be passing soon. But here we go. They're doing a defend action. They have plenty, and we know what they're going to do. They're going to go here. And there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 6 armies. So this is actually quite strong. And they have 1, 2, 3 hits on Poland. And so all 3 of these are gone. And I just realized something. Whose turn did I take where... Oh, it was France. France still has to siege. My apologies. They killed the armies, now they have to siege it. It's just a couple more turns they gotta do. Alright, their turn is over. They basically went in, did a war, now they're gonna siege. So now we go to the Ottomans, who are steamrolling, by the way. And they're gonna steamroll again. Although, hold on, they may do the unrest action. We gotta check. They don't even have any unrest. Man. Okay. They're going to do a focus on economic. Now they come over here to France, and they're going to spend 1 cube, and now they siege that area, and now it's clear. That's their whole turn. They spend 1 to siege. Now it's to us. Our issue is we have a lot of cubes, yes, but we're going to actually run out of things to do, because these guys are going to end up passing before we get a chance to do something. Now I can finish the Reconquista by just simply declaring war here, which I sort of want to do. I want to keep exploring because I want to start getting... There's a million things I want to do. But the thing I have to do now is I'm going to consolidate. I'm going to take 1 cube from each of these to give myself administrative power. And that's national focus. Then I'm going to discard 2 cards. And it's going to be these 2. So I'm going to drop that here. I'm going to take the subjugate card. Oh look, there was another one there. I didn't even realize it. So I can actually drop 3 cubes to take 2 subjugates. So if I get rid of this card, I can take 2 subjugates. The one thing that's nice about these cards is they had really good advisors on them, because I'm going to be losing my advisors. So I want to keep this. Yeah, I'm paying a big price because I'm going to lose some really important advisors here. Alright, so I'm going to grab this subjugate card. So it's at least going to be in our hand. Now, in order to do that, I have to pay a cube. So I'm going to pay 1 of these and 2 ducats to be able to grab from the discard pile. Now, what do I need to do to get Aragon? Well, I have to pay... Well, my turn's over. But I have to pay a combination of cubes and money to equal their tax base. So it's 1, 2... Or... 1... So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I need 9 total cubes to be able to annex them. And so it's going to be these cubes plus 3 ducats per cube I want to put out. And remember, I need to keep 1 diplomatic cube behind to be able to execute this action. And then I would be able to annex them, and it would be a part of my territory. Now, I can't form Spain until I get Navarra, which is either a conquest action or the subjugate. Actually, you can take single tax provinces like this and just absorb them. You have to have an alliance with them, and that requires more cubes. So, none of it's easy, and I think I'm going to run out of time. But let's move over to England here. And again, they're going to do a defend action, and they're going to move in, and there's going to be a battle against 3 units. And 2 units are gone. And that's it. This goes off the board. Okay, we go to Austria. They're just going to draw a card. Papal Curia. So we're going to pay 2 more cubes. And discard an admin. Ooh, that's a really nice one. Development. So they're going to discard that, and they get to put a cube on the Pope area right there. So they are now in charge of the Curia again. Next we go here to Poland, and they're going to siege all 3 of these, which is going to cost all 3 of their cubes. And they're out of cubes, folks. This is very interesting. They still have stuff going on down here. Alright, that's what happens when you go to war. Okay, the Ottomans. I'm going to draw a card. I'm going to spend one, and let's pray. This naval one could mean money for us. Alright, so what they're going to do is they look at their area and they look for trade nodes that they have, and they make sure that they have a ship surrounding their trade node. So they have a ship here and a ship here, so they're covering this trade node. So that's done. So then their next thing is do they have 5 ships on the board? And the answer is no. So then what they do is they just place a ship that's further out. So for example, this is the next sea zone out, which ironically is a port of theirs. So, and in fact, that actually may have been the next thing, is they make sure they have a ship that covers all their ports. It may not just be the trade nodes, it might be their ports. So no matter what, they're going here. Either way, I may have misrepresented exactly what the flowchart says, but this is where they're going. That's the no-brainer part. The part we're hopeful about is they do draw 1. And just a reminder, all players get to use this card, and if a bot uses this card, the bot that uses it gets 2 cubes. If we use it, then Ottomans score 2 points. So Vienna, Champagne, and Novgorod does not help us. Not at all. But Champagne is used by France, so France is going to gain 2 cubes. And then Vienna is going to give more cubes to Austria. And then Novgorod is going to give cubes to nobody. So that stinks. I was hoping to get some more money. Alright, we move to France. France is now going to do a defend action and move over. They still have double. They're at 3. This is 2. Actually, they don't have double. So they're going to spend 2 cubes to recruit. Before they do that, and yes, then they move over. It's going to be 2. Oh, I went the wrong way for the dice. 1 hit. So the rebels are at least quelled. Now all they have left is the siege, and it's our turn. Okay, so it's back to us. I think, as much as I want to declare war and get these things covered, and forming Spain, I do have to declare war here to be able to do that. I think annexing them is the best primary thing to do. So it's going to be expensive though. So it's going to cost me a cube. And so I'm just going to put that cube here. And then here, we can show you. Influence, it's 1 cube or 3 ducats per cube. I have to spend a minimum of a cube. I can put as many as I want in one action. So like I said, I need 8 more to be able to pull this off. So one of the things I can do is say, okay, I'm going to put 2 more out because I have 2 more of these, or I have to put 24 ducats. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2 loans and spend 1, 2, 3, 4. And I know that sounds crazy, but just do some quick math here. So this is 12. I have a 16 income right now. And so next turn, I'm going to be able to pay 1 cube to play this card. And I'm going to do the machinations now, even though this doesn't occur until next turn. So I'm going to put it here because it's technically not discarded yet, in case there's some kind of discards that occur. So what would happen is all the cubes come back, the 9 cubes that are out there, and then each of these come off the board. Now, it is possible that the AI could put cubes on Aragon, which would then force me to have to put more cubes out there. So some of what I'm doing is very dangerous, because things could go wrong. Because I'm technically taking a turn way out of order here. Oh, that's an alliance. That's the marriage. Okay, and I don't know why that's there. Okay, so we take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that one goes there for 7, and 1 big town for 8. So remember, our income was 16. Now it's 15 plus 8. So I went up to 23. And that may not seem like much, but all I did was take... This is going to cost me 2 in upkeep. So I'm going to pay 2 in upkeep for interest, and I went up to 23. So, what is that? That's 7 ducats. So I went down 2 to go up 7. Now, again, I'm way out of line here, because everybody else needs to take a turn. But I'm not going to retcon all this, just because it takes time. So we're just going to remember, when it's my turn, I'm going to have to do it. And the AI could mess with me, but most of these won't, because they got their hands full with all this stuff. So England is going to siege, for example, to get rid of both of these. Okay, and then we're going to move down to Austria, who still has plenty of cubes, so they're just going to take an action. And they're going to focus on economic. And this is actually not going to happen, because this should never happen where they have cubes out here. I actually like the way I was doing it better than the rules, but it is what it is. So they're going to focus economic, which we're going to put both of these cubes in the trash, because what's going to happen is they're going to take a claim, and it goes out here on the economic one. So since they're the second one, they get 3 cubes, or 3 points. And they do to get 2 cubes back. So my apologies. So 2 more cubes come back. So that's their turn. Then we come over here, and they're out of cubes. So they have no choice but to take an event. They're going to roll a die. 2 means they're taking the middle event, which is heretics. So let's figure out what they're going to do. Choose one of your own areas, and one area adjacent to it. Oh my gosh, they're going to get so much unrest. Place diverse faith tokens in both areas, and then add unrest to one of yours in the first and any 2 in the second. Then they can pay 3 cubes to research tolerance, which they can't do. They don't have the 3 cubes. So this is a very large point of consternation. I talked about this in the Brandenburg playthrough. A player could choose like an area like this, and then just say, here's my second area, or I'm sorry, an area like this, and say, here's my second area. There's no towns there. So we personally believe that the towns have to match. So the other thing is it says pick your lowest tax income, and then alphabetical after that, which would mean you would pick this one. Well, then the next neighboring town, again, is an NPR, which doesn't qualify, or it's themselves, which is a big problem. But I just realized this actually works. So normally when a player gets this that's Poland, when I played player versus player, we would pick this one, and then they would mess with the Ottomans by screwing up theirs. And the Ottomans are technically winning, so that's the opponent they should be going after. But I can easily see that a Poland that's bitter that they just lost some of their area, they're going to do it here. So this is going to get unrest. Then we got to grab some diverse faith tokens. Okay, so diverse faith is going to go here, and what they're doing is they're putting one here as well, and then causing 2 unrest here. Because they had to pick one area for 1 unrest and another area for 2. So that sort of works. I mean, this is actually going to hurt them as well, but they are going to put the screws to Austria there. Okay, so... oh, this was Poland. I came back here because I need to look at this. A cardinal's going to die, and then the DNPRs are going to happen. And it's going to be the green and the purple. So, cardinal... now, they're never going to pick themselves, because this is Poland's event. So they're going to pick the rightmost one, which is Austria, and that makes sense, because Austria is actually the Curia controller anyways. And that removes control from them, but it does give it back to France. What else was... oh, the DNPRs, green and purple. We don't do much with them. Blue is here. Here's purple. These guys are going to expand. So they're going to take... the order is they take a province in an area they already are in. So they're going to for sure take this one. It's not even a debate. Because this is the one province still in their area, so that's one they're going to take. After that, there's a longer thing. I think they go after someone that's adjacent to them, that has the least tax income, etc., etc. And then green is here, and this is also easy because they got one in Morocco, so they're just going to grab one here. And so basically they're taking over Morocco, and I do not have Marrakesh. That was a mistake on my part, bringing around towns. So actually I do have a little bit less income. I'm 1 less than I advertised. Okay, so that is Poland. And they took their event, and they're very likely going to pass soon. So I need to be careful, because once 4 pass, then my turn ends. Here, they still get to take an action, but barely. It's diplomacy, so this is going to be the last one for them. Then they're going to be passing soon. Okay, so they have cubes out here, a whole bunch. So we're going to go do that one. Two cubes. Is an alliance possible? Yes. Place an alliance and another cube, and then done. And where am I going with this? Well, it's because they have Kaffa here. They can do an alliance with Kaffa. And then another cube comes out. Yeah, that's what happens. Okay, so now they go to France, who needs to do a siege. So they're going to spend 1 to siege this. That's their turn. Now it's to us, and our action is going to happen, which I already performed. So nobody messed with us, so no harm, no foul. I just did it out of order, and then we just keep going. England has 1 less. They have a lot of stuff going on here. They will still defend, and they will try to move, and they can get there because it's going to be 1, and then they can go through the ships to 2. So this is a battle of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units. Roll. 1, 2 hits on England. They were able to kill the rebels. However, those towns remain the way they are. And they're out of cubes. Austria still has more than they spent. So they'll do another action. Diplomacy. And they are for sure going down this path here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They have enough. They're going to annex Hungary, which is brutally powerful for them. And that went down the wrong one. And 10 was enough, because remember we calculated they needed 9, and then 1 more because of the Polish influence. So the royal marriage goes away, the alliance goes away, the 2 claims go away, and they're going to put a lot of cities out. Sometimes I can't tell if there's more than one. Alright, so they need 1, 2, 3, 4 more. So, oh my gosh, they're out of towns. Alright, so what happens when they run out of towns? Well, there's 20 more towns here, but they get a token from over here. It gets placed in their area. And what this token means is that they have 20 tax income and 10 manpower. It's just an automatic that they get because they have all this, and then you go here and gotta grab them all out. And fill it all in. I know it's not the most glamorous thing to be doing. And almost done. And then this one actually goes on the board. So Austria is just, by getting hungry like that, that just became a powerhouse. They have all these towns on, and then of course taking Poland like they did, they are a force to be reckoned with at the moment. I'm not sure what I can do about it. So, very, very interesting. Now, do they score points or whatever? That's the part I gotta check. So, they're gonna annex the NPR and they're gonna score 3 points. Then, do they now own all provinces in a new area and have less than 2 in play? The answer is yes. They're going to spend 1 cube to place in such area. So they have 2 areas, but they're going to be able to at least place a core in 1. And it's on the other side of these, but some of them have Casus Bellis written on them instead. So they're going to core something. I guess they're going to core this one. And also it causes the Polish cube to go away. Their influence goes bye-bye. So they got a core on these, but not on these other ones. Wow. They do have to spend, I think it was 2 cubes to be able to do that. Let me check. 1 cube. 1 cube. And it's just funny how they can core something so easily. Like for us, that is a really hard thing to do. You need special cards and everything. Okay, Poland, as we stated, is completely out of cubes. And so, yeah, they're going to pass now. So we got our first pass. They do get 2 action cubes for it. And now we move to the Ottomans, who are going to take an event. And I forgot to do some things. This, and that, and this. So this is the Austrian event. Poland's going to roll a 3, which means they're going to take this event here. So I'm just going to move that over. So they're going to take the Black Army of Hungary, which is the one we did not want. So that means all of our leaders are going to die. This one, and this one. And actually one of our leader gets sick. Our advisors die, I meant to say, not leader. Alright. So this gets discarded. And this one. All discarded. Okay, so since this does not belong to a person, they pick A. War for Bohemia. Place 3 rebels and add 2 unrest to 2 towns and 1 of Bohemia, Austria, or Royal Hungary. Flip all royal marriages of Bohemia to the fire side. Hungary if an NPR declares war on the owners. Boy, this is just one turn too late, wasn't it? Okay, so they get to choose any of these places, not just Bohemia. They're going to add unrest to 2. Austria, by the way, is the capital A. Now, they already have unrest in Austria, so would they still choose Austria? Good question. Technically speaking, they would. They would choose the highest tax area, because it also puts 3 rebels there. Royal Hungary is possible. Bohemia, let's look. Bohemia nobody has, so we're not going to do that. So it's going to be Austria or Royal Hungary. Those are the 2 choices. The advantage here is that the rebels would actually flip 2, whereas here they're only going to flip 1. I don't think they take that into consideration. This is the higher tax area, and it also begins with an A. So they will do this one. So that's going to flip. And yes, 3 rebels are coming out, but the army is there, so there's a battle right away. And the rebels are going to kill 2 of the Austrian army, which had plenty. So the rebels don't do anything. The unrest did. There's no royal marriage with Bohemia. And now the rebel thing occurs for everybody. And I need to pause before we resolve the rest of this. Okay, so we got to deal with unrest here. There's 1 for the Ottomans. Rebellion. So this comes out. Well, I'm just going to put him here in the middle of the Black Sea because we're going to get more out eventually. They have an army there, so that triggers a war or a battle. So one of the Ottomans die, but they beat him back. So no harm, no foul there. This is going to siege because there's one there. So they're actually going to lose a town. And this is where we technically need to put 2 cubes on because their manpower drops. Now they're going to be rolling 1, 2, 3, 4. Rebellion happens and remove unrest happens. The remove unrest will be in a higher tax area because that benefits them. The rebellion will be here. And they will lose another province. Another cube goes on. Austria now suddenly has a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They are going to lose cubes. And 1 goes away and 1 rebellion happens. So the one that goes away is they're going to be their capital for sure. But the rebellion is going to be lowest tax. There's 3 here, 4 there. So it'll be over here, and it's going to be this guy. Now, here's the thing. There's no core here, so the rebellion means they lost the town. It's actually going back to Poland. And the the rebel unit does show up. And to make things crazier, this rebel unit doesn't care if you're Polish or Austrian. he's gonna create problems for you. This gets liberated, which means they get a town back. I think it's on the unrest side, but they do get it back. Very interesting. I love this part of the game. This is a cool... Like, it's painful to roll these dice and stuff, but... France. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they're going to roll full 5 dice. You're going to lose a cube. And... Rebellion. I forgot to make them lose a cube. And then France is going to lose a cube. Now, where does the rebellion happen? This is the lowest tax for them. And so it's going to be liberated. So they lost a town. And then we have unrest in 2 spaces. Alright, we lose a manpower and 2 ducats. Which is crazy, because that means we're getting another loan. There's a limit of 5, by the way. We're at 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we lose a manpower. I think that's represented by just exhausting a unit. Well, technically no, because I think it's just represented by, we're going to just take it off the board. So this is our available manpower. Okay, that's, I think, more accurate way to represent it. Whoa, and we're not even done. So now green and purple go. So purple is up here. Now where do they go next? Great question. Their priorities are... They go for provinces and areas they already own, then provinces and areas adjacent to their realm, lowest tax income, and then alphabetical. Okay, so adjacent to them, this is 2. Tax income, 2, a whole bunch, and a whole bunch. So this is Svealand and Ostenland, so we're going to go there, and then Akersha. So I'm going to clone, and they're going to spread to there. And then green gets one, so they're going to take Morocco for us. F. Technically, they shouldn't have taken Tangiers. They would have taken that one. Alphabetical order. So Portugal's expanding. I do like the DNPR mechanic. It's pretty cool. And then I already did this, and this was a bunch of sadness. That hit all of us. Okay, that's finally done. Who took that card? I think it was the Ottomans. Or was it the Polish? No, they still have stuff to do. It was... No, Polish passed. It was for sure the Ottomans. Okay, we're to France. France is going to defend and move their armies. Well, hold on. They're not defending. They have nothing to do. They're not going to defend. Let's go back. They spent more cubes than they have, so France is going to take an event. So if we come back over here, draw an event. It's the Turkish one. Roll the die. They rolled a 3, so they're taking the Turkish event. So money and money come out. This one is starting to be very lucrative for us. Man, it'd be nice if we had a royal marriage with them. Okay, Rise of Persia. And since it belongs to Turkey, they're going to take the B. So they're going to add blue on Tabriz and all provinces in Iraq. And 4 provinces adjacent to Iraq, as well as... Oh yeah, we've had this before. This is brutal. Alright, so blue is currently on the board. And it's okay though, because we could just copy. We can clone the capital. So basically, Persia is coming onto the map. And then we're just going to clone these. I don't see them ever intersecting with each other. So all of these are going on. But that's not it. It's in 4 provinces adjacent to Iraq. And then it's Isfahan, Fars, and Herat. So in the New World here, Isfahan, Fars, and Herat. They have 3 there. Plus, they get to do 4 adjacent to Iraq. So what we've been doing is we've been doing 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Because it's an E. And it's lowest tax. I mean, the region actually is 4, but it's a single 1. These are also single. That's 2 tax. I guess you could argue Iraq is here. So they can only do 4 adjacent to Iraq. So 1, 2, 3, and then they got to go to the New World. And they're going to take Basra for 4. Alright, so all that happens. And then the Sakulu Rebellion, so add an unrest to 3 towns that are adjacent to Persia. And yeah, and then of course the leader thing doesn't happen to them. So unrest at 3 towns. This is Persia here. And there's 1, 2, and technically this one. So technically these are towns, but they don't have unrest, see? So it's got to be the Ottomans. So 1, 2, and then 3. And since this is Rum and this is K, we're going to flip this for that. So these 2 first and then this one, because it's alphabetical order. So lots of unrest now for them, and good for them. Jerks. Ottoman jerks. Alright. Gonna draw another card. This is a very awesome one. Leonardo da Vinci. That's either a +4 admin or a +3 military. Costs 4. I think we may take this. Pick a matching replacement for one unpicked non-basic idea on display. All players may then pay 3 admin if their realm is adjacent to Lombardy or Flanders and Wallonia, or 4 otherwise, to research any idea on the display or draw 3 action cards. You may then appoint Leonardo da Vinci as your administrative leader or your military leader. Look at that, +4. Oh man, that is sweet. Okay, so it's our turn now. So where's Lombardy? It's here. Where's the other where? Oh, Flanders and Wallonia up here. So we're certainly not adjacent, so we'd have to spend 4. 4 of these, which is brutal. But as you can see, we're very devoid of leaders at the moment. I could appoint this leader here for 2. It cost me ducats. Wow. Well, I think... So here's my dilemma. Look at all these. I'm going to get 6 ducats if I take this one. And I think that by taking it, this doesn't hurt me. And then this one, I don't even remember what that one does. So, native upgrade. The active player ignores the unrest in a distant town, because we're going to get unrest. And then the chain is your vassals become disloyal. Oh man, did we annex our vassal in just the right time. Holy cow. Alright, so we are running out of actions. I think because there's other events out here that they could take, I have to do Da Vinci. Da Vinci is the bomb. So I'm going to take this one, bring it over to us. Oh, I dropped it in the wrong area. So here's the deal. I'm going to pick a replacement for one non-basic idea on the display. And since I'm not next to these, I'm going to... Oh, it's Lombard. Yeah. It's going to cost me 4 to research it, or just draw 3 action cards. I may draw the 3 action cards. Or I may not just spend any cubes at all. I think I'm doing this just because I want the advisor. I mean, 4 ducats for that advisor is perfect. And I do get to replace one of these out here. This one I'm not a fan of. So I'm thinking maybe I want to get rid of this one. So let's see what else there is. So I'm just going to flip this over. Add 1. This is one I really like. Free trade. Yeah, I'm going to do that. The free trade one is a perfect one. Flip that back over. So that I get to do. And then for 4 whatever, I can research this. And that lets me gain a 3rd merchant in a trade zone. And an instant effect, I get to perform a free trade action. You know what? I'm going to do it. 1, 2, 3, and 4. That hurts me a lot because I'm not going to be able to raise my stability. But I get another merchant out on the board. I don't know where my 3rd merchant went. I have 1 here, 1 here, and then there's a 3rd one that's supposed to be here. See, there's 2 and 3. There's the free trade merchant. That's really bizarre that it's missing for me, but that's okay. We'll just clone the one that we have. So where am I going to put him? Well, for now, Genoa's fine, because I own all these cities in Genoa. Otherwise, once I start exploring more, I can get South America to get these, or even start doing Africa or something else. But having one more is good, and then I get a free trade action. So this is the part I'm hoping becomes lucrative for us and makes it worth it. So we flip those over, and right there's Genoa as an option. This one's out. This one's definitely out. This one's also out. Bordeaux would have gotten me something, but it already paid off. I have Genoa. So Firenze, Montpellier, and Valencia. Valencia is the only city I have. So I have 1 power from Valencia. And then I have 2 from this. There's Valencia. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm just checking real quick. Montpellier, Firenze, and Genova. Genova's here. Firenze there. Montpellier's definitely not one of mine. There. Yeah. So we have 4. That's enough to get 8 ducats. I'll take 8 ducats. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to spend 2 and get rid of one of these. I may get one back, but that's fine. And yeah, this is the part where it hurts. I don't have enough cubes to move this up anymore. So I'm going to get more unrest. Okay, that was our turn. And yes, it also hurts because we didn't get any money. And there's the Polish Golden Age. So by me taking an event, more money goes on these two, but it doesn't matter how much money's actually on them. The bots just get a cube if there's money anywhere. So I'm just going to have money on one spot. Yeah, so now we go to England. England's out of cubes, so they're going to pass, or draw an event. So we're going to go over here and roll. So I'm going to do a control 1. Alright, so if I did control 1, so now if I'm all the way over here and I hit 1, oh, that didn't work. What did I just do? I just caused the card to go somewhere. That one. So it's shift 1. So I'm over here. If I hit shift 1, boom. Okay. That might work. Let me make it so I don't have to scroll across the map. So control 1 just means that England's choosing this one, so they're going to get a cube. Yeah, England gets a cube. So I didn't even pay attention. Is Da Vinci going to get sick already? It's a triangle. Oh, come on. They are, aren't they? Yes, he is. That jerk. All that money for somebody that's already sick. All players with a royal marriage with Burgundy. Nobody does. France may place a claim in Sienne and Burgundy. They always choose the first option. So that's what they're going to do. So France now has a claim there. And a claim there. Unless you're France, if you have a royal marriage, you may, forgetting from, add unrest to all these vassals. There's no more vassals. So native unrest happens. So we get unrest here. This we just looked up. I totally forgot what that is. Oh, that was the vassals. Separate. Nobody has vassals at the moment, I don't think. So, because bots don't have vassals, it's only me. So we're good. And then the triangle thing makes me weep. And yes, there's money now on both of these. And England passed. So now we go to Austria. Again, they have less cubes, so Austria is going to pass. Or no, they're going to be the last to take an event. They rolled a 1. They take the leftmost. Alright, Austria gets a cube for doing that. They're taking the Italian wars, which is actually theirs, ironically. So it means they're going to choose A. Italy is our domain. Austria gains 3 cubes and a claim in each of these areas with French towns, Lombardy, Central Italy, Venetia, and Naples. France gets a claim in Lombardy and has an alliance with Florence. Alright, hold on. They get 3 cubes. 1, 2, 3. France has no cities anywhere here. So none of this is all nonsense. France gets a claim in Lombardy and an alliance with Florence. So this was supposed to help Austria. Doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So I think this is Florence. Yep. Alright, so France has an alliance there and a claim on, I think they said Lombardy, which would be here. Yeah, none of that helps them at all. They get 3 cubes, that's the only thing. What a bizarre event for Austria. Keep going. Poland passed. Yes, Poland passed. Ottomans are going to pass. They're down to 1 cube. So they also pass. They'll get 1 cube for being the second to pass. France has less cubes than they spent. They don't need to defend. France is passing. We're going to get one more turn here, and then the fourth person's going to pass, and then we're going to get one more turn after that. So we got 2 turns left, folks. So we got to make them count. I've already accepted the fact that I cannot get this to move up. I just don't have enough cubes. But man, oh man, 4 more cubes are coming. 6. So that part's fantastic. I have no advisors here, which hurts. I have this, which is pretty decent. I can remove unrest and gain 9. That could be one of our actions. Or I could just war this down. Or I could just remove unrest for 1 action. And that would be 2 cubes. Or I could war them, which would give me a free move. I would conquer them. And then the next turn I would annex them. And that would give me the free form Spain. Own all provinces. And have no rebels or rebellions. And be at peace. I would gain a core in Andalusia and Aragon. And remove 2. Unrest. So actually that does remove unrest if I take that. What's funny is it's saying I get a core in Andalusia even though I don't own all the stuff in Andalusia, but this lets you break the rules. When it says you gain a core, you get a core. So it just means that the whole area of Andalusia is considered your core, even if somebody else owns it. I like it. I think this is actually the better path, because I get to remove 2 unrest this way. So yeah, I'm going to spend a military cube to declare war on these guys. And I'm going to move 1, 2 over. And we do battle. So they're going to roll 3 dice. They always roll 3 dice, no matter what. Even though they only have a strength of 1. And even though they rolled 2 hits, they only hit me once. So one of my units gets killed. I just realized I have a really small army. And then I'm rolling 3 dice against him. I was going to say, I better be hitting. So I do 1 hit, and that's enough to kill them. And then I actually get a cube back for winning the battle. Unfortunately, though, that's my whole turn. So now we go to England, who will pass. And there, that triggers the 4th pass. So Austria and I get 1 more turn. Austria, I think, actually wants to take a turn here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Nope, Austria will pass. And so then it gets to us. We got 1 final action. We're going to siege. And then we occupy this. And I already know what the peace treaty is going to look like. We're annexing them. So that'll be like that. And then the peace treaty will be, I'm going to agree to remove... Well, hold on. I put the wrong claim here. We had a claim on Navarra. I know they have a claim, but we had a claim here. See, the problem is I don't remember. I've played so many different games of this now. But the only reason I did this is because I thought I had a claim. And I know I was looking at this. I do remember England putting a claim on Aragon and me calling them jerks. But I would swear I spent the cubes to put a claim here. So I'm going to put it there. Because that's the whole point of this. And then the peace treaty is I get to take the claim back. And then it would remove the unrest. That's getting ahead. I'm getting ahead of myself there, but that's what the peace treaty would do. And yeah, England still has a claim on us. Okay, that is going to wrap up the round, though. And so we are going to get to the peace treaty eventually here. And yeah, I still have the claim in Andalusia I still want to do. There's so much I want to do, and I'm not getting enough turns to do it. Okay, remove Casus Belli and truces. So the truce thing is this. England, and then France. Right, so they're going to remove their little truces here. And then even Austria and Poland also lose theirs. So they're allowed to declare war again. There's going to be no NPR invasions. Rebels siege or move. That requires rebels to still be on the map. Oh, they are. They're going to move. So where do they move to? Great question. That should be over here. It's not. It's actually here. Remember, I have this open to the Rebels page because we have to deal with this all the time. So move all but one. So one's going to stay behind. So they need more than one before somebody moves. So none of these are going to move at the moment, so we'll leave it be. Peace resolution. I already took care of my peace resolution. I was the only one at war. No penalties. No interregnum. Religious dissent is going to be a thing. I don't even have another one to flip over here. France, England, fine. England would not have passed. But that still wouldn't have changed the outcome. England had... Or were they the second to pass? I don't think they were. Yeah, they were the fourth. England would not have passed. They had one cube left. So they would have taken back Pale. And since they were the fourth to pass... See, Austria passed right after them, though. So we still... Well, hold on. We still only would have had one more action left. And that is the case. Okay. So, nothing would have changed there other than they would have spent that cube and removed one more. Alright, coming over to here. Yeah. We're good. Oh, religious dissent. I apologize. We got religious dissent going on here. We have diverse faiths, so that's flipping. Actually, it's only one place here. The bots only get hurt once. So... This is E, Y, S. Yeah, I think it's this one that flips. And then Poland already has everything flipped over here. But they have diverse faiths, so this one flips. Poland is in so much trouble. And then Austria has one that flips. Okay, I think we got that covered. So now they're going to gain, so we're going to gain an unrest. We will. So I'm going to take the unrest in Mercia. That's because of our stability being too low. Then we have to roll for rebel dice. Let's start with us. We have to go area by area. Let's do the New World first. This is my largest concern. Actually, no, we're not doing New World first. I get to play these at any time. So the moment the peace treaty happened, this happened. So we completed this. Form Spain. I score 3 points for this. And we own all the provinces. We were at peace. I gain a core in Andalusia and Aragon, and I get to remove 2 unrest. So Andalusia and Aragon. And I get to remove 2 unrest. So the 2 unrest I would have removed is this guy. That would have been 1, and then this would have been my other. However, as soon as we did the so what I could have done is I could have waited until after this stage to play it. Because the religious dissent didn't hurt me because I already had unrest in the area, and then I played it before this happened. I know that sounds crazy, but that's the tricks you can do. You can do those types of tricks. Okay, and yeah, we removed 2, but we still gained 1. Alright, so I'm just going to count my roll, and my roll is just going to be against Mercia. And the roll was, I lose a cube. So I'm going to go ahead and lose a military cube. Then I'm going to roll for the other area in Andalusia. And we have to exhaust the manpower. We're going to refresh our manpower back, so I'm not worried about it. Not even in the slightest. So that's done. Oh, we got to do everybody else. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for England. They're going to lose a cube, and then nothing else happens. They don't have any cubes to lose. Oh, jerks. Okay, then we go to Austria. They have 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 of them. 2 revolts. One of them gets restored, and they lose a cube. Oh my gosh. Alright. Which one happens in what order, I can't say, but I'm going to say they're going to restore one first. So the one they're going to restore is in their highest tax area. So that would be here. So that would be the O would get flipped. But then there's 2 revolts. This is the low tax area, and this is where the revolts would happen. So they're actually going to lose both of their towns. So this is where it gets crazy, is this goes away. And then I have to deal with all this nonsense. So I'm just going to put the towns on top, like this, because that's so basically what this means is I get 2 towns back, so that means they have everything. Where are they at? They would be here. That's what it would look like. I'd have to put all of these back in, and they would have just 2 left. So these 2 would be the 2 full. So actually, it would look like this. That's where they are. They're at 9. And this doesn't count anymore. So I'm just going to... Oh, I'll just put it... I guess we'll put it back where it belongs. And that's not where it belongs. So that's technically where they are. Boy, did that get ugly. I hate that part. Alright, we'll maybe fix it later. Let's keep going. Poland now rolls 5. Oh, and technically Poland gets 2 more towns. Because they get liberated. So their towns come back, but it's with unrest. And then they roll 5. They're going to lose a cube. But nothing else happens. Oh, and then, my apologies. Every time there's a rebellion, or revolution or whatever it's called, two more or one more guy comes out. So there's 3 here now. And so after we roll the dice with the 3 here, yeah, that's right. They would get liberated. But technically now the third one, this is where it gets crazy. The third one would have done this. 2 of them liberated, and then a third one did that. So there's just revolts going on left and right. It doesn't matter who the owner is. And then down here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A rebellion, and lose a cube. And they got the same deal. So they're going to get one of these dudes and one of these. Didn't mean to grab that. And now it's just a matter of determining where. It's going to be their lowest tax area. This is a 2. That's a 2. This is higher in alphabetic order. So it's going to be here and there. And since they don't have a core, this actually just gets liberated. So they lose a town. That's what happens. Okay. It's a little cumbersome to do, but it's very fun and it's thematic. I have to create... Although I don't like being the player that it's happening to. Can I make a player board? Oh gosh, yes I can. Sorry, I'm doing an experiment here. Okay, so now we get to do our income. This is going to be an interesting part for us. We are making 23 per this, and my expenses are 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It dropped. So 13 minus 9 is 4, so I'm going to get 14 bucks. So it's going to put me up to 17. I'm finally getting money, folks. And then I get 1, 2, plus 4 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, why do I need so many cubes? Well, because I want to get this back to normal. And then I at least get from my king, from my monarch, I am still going to get 4 cubes here, which is healthy, and 3 cubes here. So even without an advisor, I still get a healthy number of cubes. Alright, so I do have some sick people. Would have been nice to hold on to him for a lot longer, but who knows? Maybe it'll be a while before we see the next triangle. And I forgot to do this. This was the one that was not selected, so it does not happen. Only the bottom happens. So the Polish Golden Age, nothing happens. So that was our income phase. We do have to now refresh manpower, so I have now 12 manpower. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay, and then we're going to go around and do all theirs. So his is 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And there's no cards to deal with. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 7. They have 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1 manpower goes away. And this goes back for sure. This gets shuffled. 1 goes back. This one's out. Coming back around. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. These cubes represent the rebellions. They actually have 4 cubes now. So their manpower is 5 plus 1 is 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's out. So that's how that would be represented. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 3 of these are out. Manpower would be 9 plus 1 is 10. There's 10. And then they get 3 more because they're the Emperor. There's 7. That's 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I forgot to do... So 1, 2 go back. 1's discarded. Yeah, like some of these folks didn't even draw a card. They had so many actions they had to do to just clean up their realm. Austria is the HRE controller. They're at strength 3. They lose their power if any of these things ever happen, which I don't think has happened yet. They haven't declared war on an HRE member. They declared war on Poland. So that's the biggest issue. So they're still at 3 strength. And for that reason, they get +1 here. So they always get an extra cube for their diplomacy. Okay, let's go back to regular order. We did the income. Oh, France is going to score 3 points for being Papal Controller. Austria gets 1 for being HRE. Disband allied units. We did the manpower. Refresh. Merchants refresh. So all that means is we just take our little doohickey back. We're the only ones that ever have exhausted merchants. Add colonists. I don't have any colonial claims. Remove the cube for change national. Already done. Remove alliances from any bots with 10 or more income. So that means France loses their alliance. Poland loses its alliance. I think that covers it all. Ottomans lose their alliance. Remove Imperial. Pass the first player token, reset round. Discard down, end of age. We are at the end of age, so some more stuff is going to happen here that hasn't happened before. First player token goes to Poland, which I believe is already the first player. Alright, so Poland is already the first player. So it stays with them because they passed first. So now we got to do end of age stuff, which is not here. Not a very helpful player aid. So page 11. It was at least telling us what page to go to. Okay, so we have to prepare the event deck for the next stage, which I've done already. And just to talk about that. That's here. So we got our first 14 cards here. So we would drag those up, and then we're going to draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then we're going to shuffle these. So remember, there's 2 halves of each half. So there's quarters, basically. So this is first quarter, second quarter, and then third and fourth quarter are in here. So then we would just do 1, 2, and 3. Flip, flip, flip. And you can see the Turkish, the English, and the Polish are all out. So that's interesting. No pressure for us to take an event, at least early. Okay, that was step 1. So the event's already done. I did that at some point. I don't have age 3 ready, but we do have age 2. Remove all milestones and replace them. Okay, that's the next one. This is a pretty easy step. So what it's saying is whoever scored their points here, it's done. So this is resetting. This, by the way, is supposed to be flipped over and visible. And then there's an actual order that these are supposed to be in. We could, for example, I know what's going on. These are actually in the right order. You just have to draw the top card and flip it over here. So the Italian Wars is the first one. Here, let me show you. Italian Wars, then Struggle for Balkans. See how they have an order? So they're already in the order. This Italian Wars is the struggle. And what I should be doing is putting these tokens out. So Flanders and Wallonia, Rhineland, Burgundy, Lombardy, Venetia, Central Italy, and Naples. So Flanders and Wallonia, right? So we're going to clone this. Rhineland, Burgundy, Lombardy. So Rhineland is going to get one. Burgundy, Lombardy, which is down here. Where's your... I guess it's right there. And then Venetia and Central Italy, I think, was the other one. Oh, and Naples. So, now you might be wondering, what's all this about? This technically was not a secret. It's been in the game for a while, but it doesn't really occur until age 2, which is why I'm worrying about it now. So these are what's called battleground tokens. So we are battling for these areas, and the battle itself is... We're going to score 2 for controlling the Papal Curia. And then if France, Castile, or Austria has towns in less than 2 of these areas, they lose 3. So these 3 countries need to have towns in those areas. So what it's suggesting is that I need to conquer Italy as Spain. Or take the lowlands, right up here. Or the Burgundy, Rhineland, or Venetia. So it's creating tension, and if any of us fail to do it, we lose 2 points. It's a nice little touch, and like I said, even from age 1, you can put those tokens out there, because this card is always visible for what's coming next. And then once it becomes active, it goes over here. How does it become active, you ask? It's going to become active. It's going to be a special symbol at the bottom of these. So these event icons, one of them is right here. Activate Power Struggle. So once it becomes in play, then at the end of the round, see, it gets scored at phase 4, step E. So at the end of whatever round it gets activated, that's when scoring occurs. Until then, that card's just sitting there taunting us. All right, so that happens. These cards go away. And technically, we could just put them back on their age. Those were the cards we had. And then, I don't know if they're shuffled or not, so I'm going to go ahead and shuffle all 4. And how that got in there, I don't know. So 4, 4, 4, and 4. Then we're going to grab one of each, because we're now at age 2. So here's the new one. So, humiliate a rival. Enforce humiliation as part of peace terms. Have a claim on a distant area with an opponent's town. Own provinces on 2 or more of the distant continents. If your PR starts, it doesn't count. Have merchants on 2 or more distant continents. So technically you don't score these until it's your turn. But if I get a merchant like right here, I score that. If I put my merchant in Africa, I would score that. And then what's the incentive here is I may want to go after Africa right away, because check this out. If I get a province in Africa, I'm going to score both of these at the same time. So this is excellent. I finally got some missions that are going to work in my favor. And I need to do this quick because these jerks, they just put cubes out and then all of a sudden they get something. And this one should be gone. And like this should never happen, because the way the rules work is if there was a cube on one, when this one arrived, it would have finished the other. So my apologies there. That was a mistake early on. I still like my method. I think they should just accumulate cubes on here, and then once they finally get the second one, then something happens. But that's not the case. Now here's the part that's interesting. The cards all go back. All of them. Now there is one exception, and we're going to get to that. Alright, so it requires us to go here. So Austria, for example, in H2, they don't have 5, 10, 11, and 12. So we go here to Austria, we open this up, and we just type in 5, out, and then 10, out, 11, and 12. All the colonized ones, for sure. Okay, so then we come back. That was Austria. Then we do Castile, Zus, England, 4, 8, 12, and 14. Four, 8, 12, and there's 14. So those are gone for England. Let's keep going. France, 8, 10, 12, and 16. Eight, 12, 10, 16. Who do we got left? We got the Ottomans and the Polish. I think they're in the other one. Ottoman, 8, 11, 12, and 14. Eight, 11, 12, 14, and Poland, 10, 11, 12, and 20. Now this one should not be in their discard pile. They should never have an event card or an idea card. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know what I'm smoking. I'm looking at this and not that. Okay. Alright, definitely smoking something. Okay, so we keep going now. Any unresearched non-basic ideas get replaced. Now, the basic ideas, they're in two different piles, but if you pay attention, these ones have era 3 on them. And I think all of them say era 3 or 4. So there's no such thing as, like these are not available to us yet. Now, what it's saying is see, I picked this one, but I didn't, or no, I did research that. I spent the 4 cubes for it. Give me a second. I should have that one claimed. So that gave me 2 points, which I thought I took. I bet I did take it. I just forgot to put my token on. Alright, so, but everywhere else that there isn't one, which is Durchvolt, which is actually not a bad one. So this is out. And then we're just shuffling these and grabbing another one. And so now colonization policy's in. So once 9 of them get claimed, that's it. Those are the only 9 you get. I don't know what happens with the fact that there's these advanced ones that occur later. It doesn't seem like there's a mechanism to get those into the game if they're all taken by somebody. So, okay, let's keep going, because you can see only the unresearched ones get changed. The player with the least prestige may choose to replace a new idea or a milestone on display with a card of their choice, chosen from the matching deck. Okay, actually, yeah, so they could just take one and replace it. So whoever is the least prestige can do that. If there's a tie, skip. So here's the problem. That would be England, who's sitting at a low 3 points here. What would they replace? God only knows, right? You could argue that it's just pure random roll a die, which actually, yeah, that's a doable concept. Let's roll a die. So they rolled a 1, so it would be one of these, and you could argue that they would replace this one because that hurts Austria, because Austria scores points if somebody else were to go here. So I'm going to go ahead and make that argument. So I'm going to go ahead and take this off and church attendance duties off, and then we're going to roll another one. I'm just going to draw up random, because otherwise the player gets to decide. The convert area action and the man of church card both cost less. Interesting. Okay, this one's a nice one for us. It costs 1 less to do colonization, and then you gain 2 colonists. It costs that 5 cubes. Remember, I just need tons of those cubes all game long. Okay, what's next? Players who have at least 1 royal marriage score 1, and must then remove 1 from their board or pay 2 to avoid this. I don't know if any of us have a royal marriage at this point. England does, so that gets removed. But they score a point for it. Yay, England! You're really pulling in the big bucks now. Nobody else has one, I don't think. Okay, done. That's it. So that was the end of age. So a couple extra steps there that were necessary. But am I having fun? Absolutely. I think this game is a blast to play solo. I have played with other people now, and the big thing is if you play with other people, you have that problem I was telling you about where somebody, if they were to attack France directly and start taking over a bunch of their territories, it creates an imbalance to the game. It really does. It's really hard to play with multiple humans and balance the idea of attacking each other versus not. Because you want to win the game. You don't want people to just go crazy and expand. But at the same token, if if a human player is playing France and somebody else is playing England and Castile, and these two gang up on France, um, there's not a lot of fun to be had by the French player. And if you're this far into the video series, you've watched a lot of hours of this game, and we're only done with the first stage. I mean, can you imagine somebody who only has two provinces and they're surrounded by big powers? I mean, it's not doable. Now, I did see on Board Game Geek, they're like, well, Austria needs to come in and help them. Okay, how's Austria going to help them? It costs one military cube to move two spaces, and another military cube to move another two. I mean, that's just to get there. And then, okay, you have a big battle. Your army gets wiped out. Now you got to go spend another military cube to move two spaces. Another military. It's not feasible to be marching your army all the way across Europe. They don't have the ships to move their armies there through naval transport. I mean, none of it is feasible. And then also, Austria doesn't have a lot of manpower if they're going outside the HRE. Now, they did take on Poland just fine, but that's a bot. So, anyways, that's all I really have to say about that. It's as a player versus player game, the excitement of this goes down. Now, with that said, my son and his friends, I think we have a good time still playing this. But as a solitaire game, this is ranking near the top for me. Like, this is right next to D-Day at Omaha Beach, Skies Above the Reich. And those are games that I really thoroughly enjoy. These games, the bots and everything makes this game fun. I'm not winning this game, folks. I mean, I'm in the running. But I'm not winning this game at the end of age 1. So, that's the part I like about it. I mean, the bots they're cheaty McCheatersons in some ways, but they're able to do things that score them points, and I don't feel like they're cheating so bad where they're just scoring points for nothing. I mean, they have to conquer areas to score points. When I conquer areas, I don't score any points. I mean, that's some of the bitterness part. But yeah. Anyways, that's why you see me playing this instead of Frosthaven right now. I really enjoy Frosthaven. I think there's nothing wrong with that game, although I make a lot of errors when I play that. And I'm realizing it's because I need to have my mental A game going when I play that. And for whatever reason, this one, even though I don't fully understand the rules sometimes, this one's more fluid to me. And as far as solo goes, this is fantastic. I think it's great. My only gripe is I wish that the bots were in addition to the players. So it should be players plus bots, not players or bots. In this game, the bots are considered players. So it's a 6-player game always. And I would like it to be where the bots, you could have 6 human players and then the 5 bot players. So 11 in the game. Like, I know that sounds crazy, but that's what I want. I want an epic game. I know these DNPRs sort of serve that purpose, but they're very passive. They're very passive, and I think you guys would agree with that. I mean, they every now and then they get to blob one more space, and like Portugal, they've blobbed 2 extra spaces here. Okay, it's still better than a DNR or an NPR that just sits there and does nothing. But anyways, thanks for watching. As always, stay awesome.